Hello everyone, it's Tamara Bennett from Southern Adornments Decor. How are you guys? Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. So I'm live a little earlier today than usual and we're doing things a little different today. Good morning, Susie. So today, instead of painting a design live with you guys, what is going on with this? Look at this feather in my hair. It's like shooting way out. Squirrel. When you're looking at yourself in the camera, you can't help but notice all these crazy things. But anyways, instead of painting a design live with you guys today, I'm just doing an open Q&A. So if you have questions about door hangers, about cutting door hangers, about jigsaws, lasers, hand lettering, it doesn't matter what it is. If you have questions about anything that I do, drop your questions in the comments. I've got my assistant Aaliyah here with me. She's going to try to help me stay on top of the comments. That way I don't miss your questions. This is driving me crazy that I'm not like centered in the video here. So I was way off. Hi, Terry. How are you? Hello, Stephanie. Good morning. Hi, Jen. Lots of people on TikTok saying good morning. I went live on TikTok yesterday while I did some shipping and we had some fun. We answered lots of questions about the happy fall. Hello. Let me start over. The Happy Flowers Workshop. I was getting all tongue-tied. So this is one that we're going to be teaching March 22nd and 24th in a private Facebook group. So if you've been seeing this lovely design hanging up behind me, you need to go sign up now. It's $10. We're going to be giving you two, not one, but two templates. So let me show you what they look like. Because if you're not crazy about the words hello friends, if you're more the kind of person who likes the word welcome, the second version of the template has the word welcome on it. So if you like welcome better, you can download both if you want to. You get both of them for the $10 price. And you can go and download it and you can paint this one instead. Hi, Sandy. Joanne says, woohoo, who all signed up? Dolores says, yes, hand lettering. Okay, Dolores, I need to know specifically what you want to know about hand lettering. I will help you. We did have a blog post recently about hand lettering, and a lot of you guys found that really helpful. So if there's something you want me to elaborate on or something you want me to show you, definitely ask. Hey, Annette. So if you want to sign up for this Happy Flowers workshop, go do that. It's only $10. It's going to be starting, like I said, March 22nd and 24th in a private Facebook group. And we're going to teach you how to do the leopard print in the background and how to transfer the design to the wood using graphite paper. Carolyn says, me, I did, Barbara did, yay. Wanda's all signed up.
Terry Seymour has a question about your Facebook page.
What question do you have about my Facebook page, Terry? Sharon says, I can't wait to paint it.
She wants to know if you do those or someone else, and do they help as advertising?
If I do what?
On your regular Facebook page.
Oh, if I make the posts. So I help come up with the ideas for the post, but I do have a team member of mine who actually schedules the posts and creates the really cute graphics that you guys see. But for years, I was the one who was making all of the posts on there. So if you're at the beginning stages of your business, definitely you can be doing those posts on your Facebook page yourself. I would just try to at least post on your Facebook page at least one time a day. Now, it's recommended that you do it more than once a day to really like get some engagement going. And the thing is, you can't just post a picture and say, look at this door hanger. That's not going to get people to comment, right? You've got to post a picture and say, do you like this or that? Or do you think I should have painted the flowers pink instead of purple? Ask a question that gets people to comment. What else you got?
Paige wants to know, can you do lettering by using a lettering template cut from a silhouette?
Yes. So if you have a silhouette or a Cricut machine, you could cut out letters from vinyl, or you could cut them out and stick the actual vinyl to the wood, or you could cut out what is it? Orcal? Is that what it's called? Orcal? It's like a stenciling vinyl essentially, and you would take out the part that you're going to paint and you would leave the negative and put the negative on there, paint over it, and then peel it up. But I feel like that's really wasteful, especially unless you're doing like a custom thing that says the Bennett family or something. If you're doing like the word welcome or hello friends, and it's something that you're going to be painting over and over again on multiple projects, I would recommend using stencil mylar. You can find that in my Amazon favorites shop. Stencil mylar, because then you can like cut it out and reuse it and wash it and reuse it over and over again instead of having to like deal with all the vinyl. Katie says, how do you get time to do live with kids? They're at school right now. So if you've been watching me for any time, you remember that like back in the day, I did all of my lives in the evenings when they were in bed. And now that my business has grown to where it is today, and all the kids are off in school and Charlie's now in school, I try to get them done during the day if possible. Otherwise, I try to just make sure they're occupied while I'm live. Otherwise, they do sneak in here.
Nicole wants to know how you get your colors so bright. I don't know what she's asking there.
Are you talking about my paint colors, how I get my paint colors so bright, or how I get my colors on my live bright? Maybe that's what she's asking.
Maybe so.
Okay, so if we're talking about the colors like you see right now on my Facebook Live, it's because I have a lot of lights. So I've got a ring light pointing down. I was going to try to show you, and then I realized that's going to make a mess. So let's imagine that this is the ring light. I have one ring light above me pointing down at me. See, notice if I cover it how dark the colors get. And then I have one behind you guys pointing this direction at me. So I have lights coming in from two directions. So if I kind of block that one, see how it suddenly changes the amount of light on my face? And so and then I also have like daylight bulbs in my actual like chandelier here in my craft room. So that's the first thing that you could do to increase the brightness on your Facebook Lives, is to change out your bulbs in whatever room you're doing to daylight bulbs. That'll help a lot.
How do you start on hand lettering? Do you copy from computer or use templates?
So for hand lettering, it depends on if you're talking about doing just like the word welcome, like you can do on our workshop design. For this, you could use a template and you could trace it on there with graphite paper. And then you could literally, like if you wanted to trace around the inside and outside of each part of each letter, then you're literally just painting inside the lines. So it's kind of like coloring on a coloring sheet with a paint pen. But if you're talking about like you want to get your design onto the wood, there's several different ways you could do it. So let me show you, I'll demonstrate one way real quick. So you could use a pencil, or you could use like a watercolor pencil. Those are really great. Or you could even just use a piece of chalk and practice writing this out. Now, if I didn't like that, I could, like erase it or wipe it off. Keep a baby wipe handy. And if you make a stroke you don't like, then you could just wipe it off with a baby wipe. But after you get it on there with chalk, then you can take a paintbrush or something. Hang on, I forgot to grab actually, let me just get one from the trash, because we're not going to need a whole lot of paint today. We'll just use black. Black shows up good. And then if you're going to paint over your lettering, if it's lettering that's this big, see how each letter, like there's plenty of room between the letters, you can probably use a filbert tip brush. If the letters are nice and skinny and very scripty, you may want to go with more of like a round tip brush, because you're not going to have a lot of space between your letters. But let's try this one that has lots of room, and we're going to use this filbert tip brush. Get plenty of paint on your brush, and it helps if you water down your paint just a little bit too. And just trace right over. I didn't even get right on the lines there, but that's okay. I'm going to thicken up my downstrokes by making them almost twice as wide. But see how you can practice right here on a piece of cardboard? And it feels very, very similar to how it feels when you letter on wood.
Okay, follow-up question to that is, do you have a video explaining how to highlight or shade those letters?
I don't think I have a video. One person I know that teaches this, that teaches hand lettering, that would be very good to watch, is Jennifer Radin from Canvas Sign Designs. She did a lesson for us in the Painters Clubhouse, and she is an expert at hand lettering on wood signs, and I think she does it better than anybody I've seen to do the highlights and things on the letters. So go check out her videos for that. I'm kind of doing this while holding this up and everything, so this isn't like the best job that I could do, but y'all get the point. Another thing, if you have a hard time following and like actually going around, you can do one stroke like that and then do another stroke like this on the back side of the letter, and then just come back and kind of reconnect it and fill it in. You don't have to follow the lettering exactly as you would if you were using like a pen or something. And you can even change up brushes. Like if you're trying to get a thicker stroke in some areas, like if I wanted a thicker stroke on these parts, but a skinnier stroke here, I could swap brushes in between doing certain parts of the letters. No, I have feathers in my hair, Sherry. Oh good, I still have water here from last Tuesday. Does anybody else have like nasty paint water still on their craft desk from last week? Just me? Okay, what's our next question?
Do you have to have a business license to have a Facebook page?
No. So anybody could have a Facebook page. You could have a Facebook page where you just go on rants about how much you hate going in Walmart. You could make up your own Facebook page no matter if you have a business or not. So Facebook page is for anybody. But if you're going to set up an Etsy shop or start selling your items, you do need to have to be registered at irs.gov and get you an EIN number because then you're on the up and up with the government.
What glitter cardstock do you recommend using on the Cameo 4? This is on TikTok.
Oh, sorry. I don't have a Cameo, so I'm not the person to ask about glitter cardstock, and I don't know a lot about the Cricut. I know enough to be dangerous. So I'm not the person to ask about that stuff.
Barbara signed up for the workshop. When will she get the template for the workshop?
So if you're signed up for our Happy Flowers workshop, you can get the templates inside the Facebook group. Is that right? Because that's what I've been telling everybody. So it better be in there. It's inside the Facebook group. So once you sign up, it will say, go join the Facebook group. Click that, request to join the Facebook group, and then it will be inside there. And we usually have everything organized in the guides tab.
Okay, Carrie is new here. She wants to order some of your downloadable stencils, but she's afraid of painting them. I'm assuming the templates.
Okay.
Do they all come with a guide or line on how to paint them so they look like yours?
Okay, so not all of our templates come with a video, right? And by templates, she said stencil in her question, but I bet she means this. So lingo-wise, this is a template. That's what we call these. A stencil would be something that's like made of like plastic that you would paint over and then wash it. Since this is made of paper, we call these templates. But no, we don't have a video for every single template in our shop. Otherwise, I would have over 1,000 painting videos. I have several hundred, don't get me wrong, but I don't have one for every single design. So what I usually do is we release 5 new designs each Friday, and I usually try to paint at least one of those designs each week. Now, sometimes I'm out of town and I don't always get a painting video done. But of course, we also have over 100 painting tutorials and templates in our Painters Clubhouse membership also. So if you're starting out and you're new to this and you're at the stage where you do need a painting video to go along with every template that you use, I would recommend that you start either with our Happy Flowers workshop or with Painters Clubhouse, which if you join this, you get invited to that and you get $10 off your first month, so why not? But you'll get access to over 100 different painting templates in there, and each one of those has a video that accompanies it. So it makes it really easy to kind of get started with, training wheels, so to speak, and you've got somebody holding your hand. And then as you become more confident in your painting, you'll get to the point where you can just buy a template and you don't have to have a video to help you watch you help to watch. You can buy a template and you don't have to have a video to watch while you paint it, is what I'm trying to say. Because all of our templates also come with like a color mock-up. That's kind of what we call like the example photo. And so you'd be able to just look at the example photo once you're more confident in your painting and figure it out from there.
All right, on TikTok, we have a question. How to use Procreate to figure out your colors if you buy blanks instead of the templates? Isn't that in the Procreate?
Okay, so in the Procreate app, let's see, how would I explain this? If you bought a blank and you're wanting to test it, something that I saw one of our Clubhouse members do, which I thought was really smart, and I forgot who it was. It might have been Pam or Pat. What they did was they bought a blank at Hobby Lobby, which whether you buy it from me or Hobby Lobby, the process would be the same. And I think what she did is she laid her blank down on a surface and she took a picture of it with her iPad and then brought that picture into Procreate. And then she just traced over the lines and the design in Procreate to kind of create her own like black and white mock-up. And then she just dropped in her colors and stuff, and it helped her decide how she was going to paint that cute little wooden truck from Hobby Lobby before she actually sat down to paint it. She created her own mock-up based on the wood blank that she bought. Does that make sense?
All right, Teresa on TikTok wants to know what brand you use for your black paint pens.
Okay, so I've used a couple brands over the years. My two favorites are the Posca, P-O-S-C-A brand. And then I also love Artiste. It's upside down. See, look, the packaging is upside down on the back, so it always confuses me. Artistro are acrylic paint pens. These are great. These are actually a little cheaper than the Posca pens, and I believe it's a company in the USA, so, you know, support USA. But these work great, and I really like them as well, and you get, like, a whole pack of colors, so.
Brittany said that makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
She's in your Procreate.
Oh, it was Cynthia. She said that was me with the little yellow truck from Hobby Lobby.
Okay. Brittany says she's in your course and couldn't figure it out. Okay, how do you get good paint coverage with less coats?
Okay, good paint coverage with less coats. That is all about two things. Number one, what kind of paint you're using. Because if you're not using a high quality brand of paint, it's going to be real hard. That's why I always use the DecoArt Americana paints. They are highly pigmented and they cover really well. The second thing would be how much paint you're putting on your brush. So let me kind of demonstrate here. We'll use pink this time, or no, red. We'll use the reds since I held that one up. So one of the reasons I use egg cartons is because when I put my paint in here, it stays in a nice, neat little puddle, right? If you've ever used a foam paper plate or something, when you put your paint in there, what does it do? It spreads out. And then you've got to do this like scooping method to get your paint, right? Well, if it's in an egg carton like this, let me get a little bit of water on my brush to start with. That helps also. Helps your paint kind of flow. Get your brush and dip it right in the middle of that paint. If you don't have foam egg cartons where you're at, another alternative is silicone ice cube trays. They even come with lids, so you could pop the lid on and it keeps your paint fresh. So get enough paint on your brush. I try to like make sure it's not dripping off, but I've got like a good amount on there, right? And I can start, here, we'll use it up here just in case I need more cardboard later. And I can start and I can cover this whole little area right here with very little trouble. And that really might even be enough depending on what surface you're painting on. If you're painting on something that has a lot of wood grain, you may have to do 2 coats. It also depends on the color because some colors are more opaque than others. But, you know, if I didn't get as much paint on my brush, maybe I started with this much, I'm not going to get as far as I start to paint. It's going to start to spread out and it's just going to get thinner and thinner. So make sure you've got enough paint on your brush when you start. Don't be shy about dipping your brush in there. The only thing I don't advise you do is do not dip your brush all the way in so that your paint comes all the way up to here, because then you're just going to have a mess and it's going to get all stuck in these bristles up here near the ferrule and you're going to have a hard time getting it washed out. All right, what else you got for me?
How much is the PC?
Painters Clubhouse is $47 a month and it opens March 29th. So if you sign up for our workshop, you get $10 off your first month in Painters Clubhouse.
Sherry wants to know where you got your chair.
My chair is from, well, I've got 2 chairs actually. So my first, they're both almost exactly the same, but it is like a faux leather bar stool. And I got it from Walmart. Well, then I was going to get a new one because the other one was looking kind of grimy. And I couldn't find it. So I ended up getting one from, I think it was Burlington. It's like a Burlington store.
All right, Ray's not paint related, but she wants to know if you love those pair of eyeglasses.
Oh, I love my glasses. So
she worries about the attachments coming off.
I've only had problems maybe one time with knocking off one of the attachments. And that was because I had my glasses on my neck like this and I forgot about it and I bumped something and the little topper fell off. So, oh goodness, I feel blind when I take them off. Everything is all blurry. So if you're wondering about the glasses, let me show you. These are called Pair Eyewear. They have magnets at the top so you can change out the cute little toppers for the different outfits you're wearing. So I've got some more here and I think I've got some more in my mailbox. I got another shipment today. I've kind of got an addiction. So the other ones that I have are Pink Sparkle. It's got some little glitter flecks in it. Those are fun. And the frames that I'm wearing, a lot of you guys ask me, are Larkin frames. There's different names for the different frame shapes. So these are the Larkin ones, and I got the tortoise. I just said tortoise. The tortoise shell frames. So next one, I got this one. It's called Botanical Split. I've got tie-dye, super fun. We've got green camo. Teal sparkle, which this one's a little transparent, but still cute. And then I just got this one the other day, which I didn't realize how similar it is to my pink sparkle, but it's just neon pink without the sparkles. So we're gonna go back to our leopard print because I feel like that goes best with my outfit today.
We have a viewer in the Netherlands, and door hangers are not so well known there. So what kind of a great design would you recommend she start with to get people enthusiastic?
Ooh. Is spring coming up in the Netherlands? Like, are they on the same sort of weather? I don't know. I mean, if you are, then I would choose maybe something with florals. This design may be great. Of course, I also don't know, you know, if y'all speak the same sort of language we do, but if you need like a different word on it, you could just leave the wording off the middle and you could create your own wording to go on it if you wanted it to say something different. But I think anything bright and colorful that's going to catch people's eye will work.
TikTok wants to know, when do you use paint pen versus paint brush?
That's all just kind of what my mood is, really. And it changes the look of it a little bit. So, you know, for this one, you can tell that it was done with a paintbrush. It's just a little bit more, I don't know, it just looks a little bit more curvy and stuff like that. And so with a paint pen, you're going to get more of a controlled look. And of course, that's just one stroke, but you can go down through here and add a second stroke and kind of fill it in to kind of make it look. So if you're a beginner, paint pen may be actually easier for you because it's going to give you more control. It's going to feel like you're writing with a Sharpie. But you guys get the point. You can be more precise with a paint pen. So there's not really like a way that I decide. I think it's just my mood and what feels like it's going to be easiest. Like if the lettering feels close together, like this design, for example, that we did, these letters are nice and skinny, and a lot of the strokes on these letters are sort of the same thickness. And so it's considered like a monoline font. Because it's monoline, you don't want to have certain parts of it be thicker or thinner than others. And so using a paint pen allows you to kind of get a monoline look easier than if you were using a brush. But if you're getting different thicknesses, depending on certain strokes you're doing, then a brush may allow you to do that a little easier.
Now, do you sell those traceable patterns?
Yes, they're called templates, and we have over 1,000 different designs at shopdoorhangers.com.
Garrett Page Roof wants to know, what's your favorite kind of wood to use?
So I really like painting on 1/4 inch MDF, but it can be hard to find in my area unless you special order it. Like, you can't just walk into Lowe's and find that. And Lowe's is what we have in our little town. I could drive further over to a Home Depot, and I think they may sell it, but it's only in like 2 foot by 4 foot sheets, and you can't do much with a piece that small. I like to buy my wood in like an 8 foot by 4 foot sheet. And so I usually end up getting 1/4 inch Revolution plywood from Lowe's. It is a type of plywood underlayment. So if you're going to a Home Depot instead of a Lowe's, it may not be called Revolution plywood. It may just say plywood underlayment. But kind of pay attention to like the surface, how smooth does it feel, and does it have anything printed on it? Because the underlayment is not meant to be painted on necessarily. It's usually something that's used in building houses, and it's underneath something else, so nobody cares if it's got something printed on it. So just kind of pay attention if it's got a bunch of stuff stamped or words put on it, because that may inhibit you from being able to paint over it very well.
Tiffany's asking if you make and sell door hangers or primarily the trainings and workshops.
So when I started out, I did teach paint parties and sell all of my painted door hangers, but I've now transitioned to where I am just teaching you guys how to paint. So the services that I offer now are just teaching you how to paint online through our Painters Clubhouse membership, selling printable templates and things that allow you to be able to design or draw your door hanger designs out a little easier. But I don't sell my painted creations unless it's like a special occasion. For example, last week we did a silent auction for a local child, and I auctioned off 13 of my painted door hangers. But other than that, most of the year I do not sell my painted designs.
We have another question about where the template for the workshop is, and is there a different one that says Hello Friends?
Like a different design? Because this is the only one that I think I have that says Hello Friends. But this is the one we're teaching in the workshop.
She's printed off the welcome one. There should be
Oh,
another
okay.
one for the Hello Friends.
Yes. There's 2 templates inside the Facebook group. So if you're looking for them, after you sign up, join the Facebook group, look in the guides tab. It'll likely be linked there. There's 2 versions. There's this one that says Hello Friends, and there's the second one that says Welcome.
Wanda, or Sherry wants to know if they sign up for the flowers workshop, can they that then be used for paint parties?
Yes, yeah. So if you want to teach this in a paint party in your hometown or with your friends, or get together at Easter with like all your, sisters and cousins and nieces and paint this, you totally can. You can sell it if you want to sell it. You can teach it if you want to teach it. All of my designs are that way, actually. So any design you buy from me at shopdoorhangers.com, you have full permissions to go out and teach how to paint that design locally in your town or whatever.
So Carrie wants to know, what type and brand of paint do you most use on your projects?
I mostly use Deco Art Americana paints. They are a matte paint, meaning they don't have any kind of gloss in them. I prefer to add my gloss myself. After I'm completely done, I will add a spray coating of clear gloss sealer on them. But I like the Americana paints.
Okay, Carolyn wants to know, aren't there colors that seem brighter if you paint another color under them?
Oh yeah, for sure. So like these colors right here, the yellow, the pink, maybe even the orange, if we had not painted the background of this white, those colors might have seemed a little dimmer, if that makes sense, because they don't have like a brightness behind them if they were just painted on like cardboard or wood. So painting on top of the white really helps. So anytime, like if you're painting a sunflower, for example, and you want to use a yellow, you can just start by painting the yellow on the wood, but there's a chance that the wood grain is going to show through that yellow even if you do 3 coats, and there's a chance that that yellow is not going to be as vibrant unless you paint white underneath it. So if I'm painting a sunflower, I almost always give it a coat of white first just to make sure I cover up the wood grain and the color's brighter.
Kimberly's asking what you get monthly when you join Painters Clubhouse, not Playhouse. Clubhouse.
Painters Clubhouse. So that is our membership that is coming up on its 4-year anniversary. So when you join, you get access to our private Facebook group and to our membership site. And inside the membership site, there are 4 years worth of tutorials and templates. And that's 2 every month for 4 years. So it equals out to a little over 100 templates and tutorials in there. Plus all kinds of technique videos about hand lettering, bow making, painting leopard print, like all different kinds of techniques that you could go and watch. We also have lots of different guests that have come in over the last 4 years and taught specific things that are their specialty, like how to turn your door hanger into yard art, or how to photograph your door hangers, things like that. But in addition to all of that, you also get 2 new designs and templates every month going forward that you're in the clubhouse. So each month we try to come out with 2 new designs that are going to be like trendy for that season. And of course, our Painters Clubhouse Facebook group is a big benefit. I don't want to downplay that at all. It is a huge benefit of being in this membership because there are over 1,500 women in there, and they're all just like you. They're all learning to paint. They're all trying to grow their skills, and they all like have this same generous community over competition mindset. There's never any drama in that Facebook group. There's always just so much like comfort and kindness in that group. So if you're scared to post pictures of your work inside a Facebook group, that will not happen to you in Painters Clubhouse. You can post in there and know that the ladies are going to be kind and welcoming always.
All right, is there another way to watch if you don't have Facebook in Clubhouse?
So there's not another way to join like the Facebook group. If you don't have a Facebook page at all or a Facebook profile, you can't log into Facebook, then you would miss out on the group aspect of it. But you could still participate in all of our Zoom calls, which would give you group atmosphere, and you could still log into the membership site and access all of the trainings and tutorials that we're talking about. You wouldn't be able to watch them live since the lives are done inside the Facebook group, but you would always be able to watch the replays.
All right, back to your glasses. Are they prescription?
Yes, my glasses are prescription.
Style of the frames?
Larkin.
And where are you located at?
Benton, Kentucky.
Okay.
I feel like that was like a rapid fire, and I'm like, my brain's not operating fast enough to answer these.
We were recovering a few things that were repeated. Okay, so the Prairie Babette on TikTok wants to know what your tips for starting to teach a paint class would be. She's brand new.
Okay, so first of all, I can give you a few tips here on Facebook, but I want to say we also have a couple of blog posts on this particular topic. So if you go to southernadornamentsdecor.com, and when you click on blog, there's a search bar, type in paint party, and it'll come up with a couple of blog posts that will help you out. But if you're going to do a paint party in your home, I would recommend by everybody painting the same thing to start with, because you don't want everybody to be painting all different kinds of stuff, and it's going to be even more confusing. So pick one design that you think everybody will enjoy. Get your paints together. Try not to have like way too many selections of colors to start with. Maybe just keep it down to a few basics. If you have never painted this design before, I would recommend that you paint an example version before the party. That way everybody kind of has a visual hanging up to look at, okay? I've done it a couple different ways. One way is I actually am painting it alongside them at the party and kind of teaching as I go. So if that makes you feel more comfortable, you can do that. But I kind of got to where I enjoyed walking around and helping everybody individually while they painted. And then I just have like my example hanging up, and I would just kind of give them advice as we go, because I paint way faster than everybody else in the class. And so for me to paint an example part, it kind of took me away from being able to walk around and help everybody. But make sure you've got, you know, paper towels, stuff to cover your tables, to like, you know, cheap tablecloths. What else? Baby wipes on hand at all times. Things like that. But go check out the blog.
All right, as a crafter, how do you get your name out there? She has a Facebook group and a TikTok account.
As a crafter. So if you're here on TikTok and on Facebook, you know that you can do Facebook Live or TikTok Live. That's one of the best ways. And if you're not comfortable talking on video like this, you don't have to talk. You could just turn it on and have the video pointed at whatever you're working on. If you're making handmade things, just let them watch you make things with your hands, and you don't have to say a word. But getting your name out there, especially here on TikTok right now, just doing lives and posting videos, like behind the scene videos and things of you making things, is going to exponentially increase how much traffic you're getting and how many followers you're getting. And nowadays, Facebook's got Reels. So really, if you're posting on TikTok, you may as well save that and post it over on Facebook as well, so you can generate traffic in both places.
I think she needs to be consistent.
Yes, and be consistent. We mentioned that a little bit earlier about making posts. Same goes on TikTok. If you just post once here and once there and you aren't real consistent with it, that tells your customer and tells the platform, the TikTok or Facebook platform, that you're not real serious about this. Your customers that are buying from you want to know that you're going to show up, that you're going to do the things you say you're going to do, and you're going to be the person you say you are. And if you aren't showing up regularly and being there every day, then they may not take you as seriously. So
everyone's coming back and saying thank you for the answers. So.
Oh, you're welcome. You guys enjoy this? Let me know your feedback. If you are enjoying this live Q&A, maybe we could start doing this once a month or more often.
All right, Carrie's a beginner, and she's back with another question. Did you say you have different workshops to sign up for? And if so, as a beginner, what would you recommend for her?
So the current workshop that we have going on is the Happy Flowers workshop. And it's only one workshop, but it has two versions of the design. So I explained this a little bit earlier. I'll show you another one. Once again, there's two versions of this design. There's the one that says Hello Friends, and then there's the one that says Welcome. So you can paint either one.
You do workshops how many times a year?
Oh, but I do the workshops at least 2 times a year. I usually do them in the spring and in the fall. And I've been known to do 1 or 2 in the winter, but I've kind of learned you guys are busy in the winter. I don't get very many signups for the winter ones. So I don't plan to do another one in the winter. I probably will do one in the fall, and then we won't do another one until spring again.
All right, recap the brand of paint pens and where to get them.
The Artistro paint pens are some of my favorites, and also the Posca paint pens. Those are 2 different brands. Both of those are on Amazon, and I did link my Amazon favorites in the video description for you, so you can go and easily find them. They're also linked to my profile on TikTok.
Barbara wants to know if Pear does bifocal glasses.
Yeah, so mine are actually progressive lenses. I paid extra to get the progressive lenses, and so did Aaliyah. So yeah, those cost extra. The progressive lenses add $199, I think, to your glasses cost. So just be prepared to pay more for those.
Everybody's loving your coordinating cheetah accessories today.
Cheetah everywhere, all the time.
Live Q&A is awesome. Most people just answer 1 or 2 questions. And we're out of questions. Come on,
We're out of questions? How are we out of questions? Surely y'all have more. Let's see. Judy says, I'm enjoying and learning from this Q&A. What other questions do you have? I'm waiting. Y'all better typing fast. Who's going to be the first to ask? Sherry has been enjoying this. What time is it? We're only 37 minutes in, too.
Jill
I've got a little more time.
Did you ever have a retail space?
Yes and no. So I never actually had like my own store, my own brick and mortar store, but back in the day I did have a booth at a like peddler's mall kind of place. Have y'all ever been to one of those? You know, they've got multiple vendors in one building, and so I had a booth, and I would go in there and sell my door hangers, and then if somebody also had a custom order, I would go and leave it in the booth for them to pick up with like reserved or something written on it. So if you can't afford to open your own brick and mortar store, see if there's a place like that in your hometown. I bet there is, and you can go and set up a booth and kind of have a permanent location to sell your goods.
How did you get your start?
So I started back in 2015 when I was 8 months pregnant. Can you believe that? I was 8 months pregnant when I started my business with Charlie. And my husband had been in Afghanistan prior to that. And while he was in Afghanistan, I started doing crafting parties in my home. And the door hanger parties were the most like popular ones. So after he came home from Afghanistan, we needed a little bit of extra income, and I had to like figure out like, what am I going to do? I started like applying to work at Walmart and all these different places. I was also a substitute teacher, but we needed a more steady income. And I kind of like realized, hey, I've been doing this crafting thing. Maybe I could make this into a business. And so I started doing paint parties in people's homes, in their church fellowship rooms, in local restaurants, anywhere that would let me set up and do a paint party. And I kind of structured it a little bit like, you have a hostess, and the hostess has rewards, kind of like MLMs do. And so the hostess would get to paint for free if she had at least a certain minimum number of people show up to the party. And so we did paint parties. I started selling my designs. I set up at the farmer's market. I sold at the peddler's mall, like I was saying. I started a Facebook page. In 2016, I started doing Facebook Lives because that was when Facebook Live became something new on Facebook. And I haven't looked back. I did my last like public paint party in February 2019, and I've been 100% online since.
All right, 2 questions. One from TikTok and one from Facebook. Very similar. What is your favorite design, and what is your favorite door hanger you have made?
That's like asking which of your kids is your favorite. The little truck with the attachments is one of my all-time favorites. I feel like it's very creative and it's so versatile. So if you haven't seen that one's one of my favorites. The lemon welcome that we did a couple of years ago is still one of my favorites to this day. Now, if we're talking Christmas designs, the design with the little snack tree cake door hanger, like the little Debbie snack tree Christmas, what am I trying to say? Christmas tree cakes on it. We taught that one in the clubhouse last year as like a Christmas in July design. That one is still one of my favorites to this day. So, but I've painted hundreds.
If someone had a design they wanted, would you be able to make it on your machine?
So yes, we don't actually do custom door hanger cutouts for people. Like if you were to send me a design, I can't manage cutting out everybody's individual designs, but hypothetically, yes, if you were to design something or draw something yourself on Procreate, or even if you drew it on a piece of paper, I would know how to like digitize that design to be able to cut on wood.
What's your favorite way to clean your brushes?
I'm lazy, y'all. My favorite way to clean brushes is over the kitchen sink and just with warm water, just sit there and kind of, you know, brush your finger back and forth over it while the hot water's hitting it. But the key to that, to actually getting your brush clean, is not leave, and this was such a pet peeve of mine at paint parties. People would get paint on their brush and then they would leave it sitting like this on their paper plate with paint on the bristles. And I'm like, that paint's drying out. That paint's sticking to the bristles. And I would like casually walk by and like pick all of those up and put them in a water cup, and they'd be like, hey, I wasn't done with that paintbrush. And I'm like, yeah, but it's going to dry out and ruin the brush if you leave it laying out. So that's the thing. You cannot leave your brushes laying around with paint on them. So as soon as I get done with a brush, I drop it in a cup of water. Now, do not leave them in here overnight or for multiple days. That's a big no-no, because these these handles are made of wood. So what happens to wood when it gets wet? It swells, right? So I only leave them in here for a few hours while I'm painting, and then when I'm done, I go wash them out. And the key is to lay them on a flat surface to dry. Do not leave them laying like this in a cup with wet bristles, because what happens, gravity starts to pull the water down into here, and then the wood of your handle will start to swell, and it will cause like I was trying to see if I had one sitting here. I don't think I do, but you guys have all seen it. Like when the paint on your handle starts to crack and split, that's when the water has gotten down into the wood handles. I've done a real good job. I'm proud of myself. I've done a real good job of taking care of these brushes that I have. So I don't even actually have one over here that's in that bad a shape right now, because I've done such a good job of taking care of them. But after every Facebook Live or every time I paint, I will go rinse them out immediately and then lay them on like a dish drying mat to dry. And I don't put them back in my paintbrush holder, you know, this direction, until they are 100% dry. So that was probably more than you asked for, but.
Nicole Hillis wants to know, what's your most popular design?
Okay, Leah's going to answer this question. What is it?
The Happy Fall from the workshop.
Oh, yes. So do y'all remember the one we did not last fall, but in 2020, August 2020, when everybody was on lockdown? Everybody and their brother wanted to paint, and the most popular design we did was the one that had buffalo check in the background, and it had 3 pumpkins going down the side, and it says Happy Fall, y'all. Isn't that one in the Painters Club house too? I think it is.
They're still buying it.
People are still buying that design, so it's like a good classic one.
All right, if someone had no, that's a different one. I've already done that one. Painting is fun, but the highlights with a marker was what gives her a hard time. Any tips?
So if you're doing highlights with a marker, it's going to be a little bit more harsh. So like on this example of the one that we did earlier, which we didn't finish this, but you know what, we're just going to demonstrate real quick. With a marker, if you're doing a highlight with the marker, it's going to be pretty bold, right? It's hard to make that look effortless. It's hard to make it blend and look seamless. So, let's see if I can do this without, I feel like I cannot do this justice. Again, go follow Canvas Sign, that's not white, Canvas Sign Designs on Facebook, Jennifer Radin. She does this better than anybody I've ever seen. But she will take a brush and get just a little bit, I've got a cord here and it's all up in my way. So I've got a round tip brush. I'm going to get just a wee bit of white, and I'm going to dab off as much of it as I can so that I don't have very much on there. And then with a real light touch, you can add sort of a highlight on your letter. And that looks kind of rough because it's on cardboard and it followed like the bumpiness of the cardboard. But with very little paint on your brush, you can go down and add a little bit of a highlight. If you struggle to get it light enough, then you could, instead of using a stark white, maybe use like a gray or something like that. But that's the technique. It's going to take a lot of practice to get it right. So practice on some cardboard or a scrap piece of wood.
Do you create all of your own designs? How do you come up with the ideas?
So no, I do not create all of my own designs. I used to, but since we come out with 20 or 25 every month, that's a lot. That's a lot. So I now have a design team. So it's me and 3 other ladies on the design team that come up with all of the designs that we sell each month. So what we do is once about every 6 months, our design team will hop on a Zoom call together and we will brain dump all the ideas that we have for upcoming door hanger designs over the next 6 months. And we will come up with like a theme for each week. Well, then as the months, progress, each month we will go into we use a sauna to organize everything. We'll go in and we'll say, I'm going to do 1 of this design or 2 of that design. And we'll kind of like claim what we're going to do. And so usually it's evenly split. So out of the 20, I may do like roughly 5. And then another designer may do 5. So we try to split it up as evenly as we can. But some months, some of us are more busy than others. And so some of us may pick up slack and do more. So no, I don't design all of them now. But I am a part of the creative process. And I do design maybe 5 out of the 20 that we do each month. What was the follow-up to that question? It was...
Where do you get your ideas?
Oh, and where do I get my ideas? So everywhere. Anytime I'm out shopping or out in nature or anywhere that I see something that I'm like, oh, like once you start doing door hangers, you think about door hangers all the time. And so now I can be walking by something and see something and I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. And I snap a picture because I'm not going to remember it tomorrow. So, and then when I sit down to actually design, I'll open my camera roll and say, okay, I love this idea of doing a flamingo with a Santa hat. Maybe I saw that on like a t-shirt or a cute gift bag design at the Dollar Tree. And so I will recreate that design on like my Procreate by coming up with the concept and kind of like, maybe I don't like the way they drew their flamingo or something like that. And so I kind of like try to make it my own on Procreate.
Kimmy Joy has a son with a disability and wants to do a painting party with his friends. Do you have ideas for things to paint?
How old are they? That makes a difference. And the fact that they have a disability may have an impact on it. So I would say keep it as simple as possible, especially boys. For the most part, girls usually have a little bit more patience when it comes to painting and can sit for a longer period of time to finish a project. But I've noticed boys, when they would come with their mamas to my paint parties, would be like 5 minutes in and they're like, I'm done. And I'm like, honey, you need to put like another coat of paint on that. You can still see the wood grain through it. Like, it drove me crazy. Of course, I'm a little bit of a control freak and I have a hard time like letting it go. And the mom is like, can you help him? So that's why I didn't do kids parties, because it's a little stressful. So I would keep the design concept as simple as possible. If they like sports, do a basketball or a football, or soccer ball may be kind of hard just because of the design of the soccer ball, but something sports related would be really, really simple. If you wanted to do like just something with their name on it, you could just give them like a circle or maybe like a rectangle or something that they could just paint any color on they want, and maybe just do polka dots with little like sponge pouncers. If you haven't seen these, they have them in multi-packs at Walmart, or we have them in our shop. They could do polka dots and things like that, and then they could write their name on it with a paint pen.
Okay, breathe.
Am I talking really fast?
Well, you just sound like you're out of breath. Did you do craft shows?
I did a couple. But here's the thing. Once I started doing paint parties, the craft shows were lackluster to me, because I could do all this work to paint all these door hangers to go set up at this craft show for a few hours, and I may or may not sell door hangers. I may sell a few, I may sell a bunch. It was very unpredictable. But once I started doing paint parties, I knew that if I could get 10 people to sign up for a paint party, and I'm charging, let's say, $25, I could go do that paint party, and in 2 to 3 hours, I was guaranteed to at least make $250. And that was more worth it to me than doing a lot of work on the front end for like without a guarantee on the back end that I was going to make money. And a lot of times the craft shows were on Saturday afternoons, and that was a prime time that people wanted to book paint parties. And so paint parties took priority over craft shows for me. And so I eventually stopped doing craft shows and just only booked paint parties on those days.
Blair wants to know if you've ever used gray under yellow instead of white.
I've never used gray under yellow, but I have used gray under red.
Joanne wants to know, can you ever have too many paintbrushes?
No. I've got so many over here. My husband bought me this for Christmas a few years ago. Y'all may have seen it in some of my videos. I got it on Etsy. I'm sure somebody out there made this by hand. And it's even got like somewhere on it. I thought it had my business name. I think it's got like a little plaque. My husband even put my business name, but you can't see it. But anyway, I've got a bunch here, and I really probably only use 10% of these at any given time. But you know, a girl's got to have her options. And then I've probably got cups or boxes full of brushes somewhere else from back in the day when I did paint parties that I haven't let go of either.
Shanda wants to know if she'll be considered self-employed if she starts a small business, and if not, where will she find the best resources to get started?
Okay, so yes, you would be considered self-employed, and when you go and get your EIN number on irs.gov, you would be not an S corp. What's it called? Sole proprietor.
Sole proprietor.
So you would be a sole proprietor, and that is, you saying that you are the only person, running this business. You're not a partnership. Hey, Corey. And so to get started, I would check with like your local, my friend Sarah Williams told me about this, and I did not even know about this, but I guess every like area has their own small business
Incubator is what we used to call it.
Incubator?
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
It's a small business office.
It's like a small business office, and they have resources to help you get started. So I would like do a Google search and see if there is a small business like bureau or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. Small Business Association. But they have offices in all different places. I would check with them. If you cannot find one of them, I would just go to your local city hall and be like, hey, what do I do to get started? Because that's kind of what I did. I showed up at the city hall. I was like, I need to get a business license. And they were like, well, before you do that, do you have a doing business as paperwork? And I'm like, no, where do I get that? And so then I had to go get that. And then I tried to go to the bank and set up a bank account, and they were like, but you got to have this first. So I did a lot of legwork to kind of figure out what I had to, but each of those places will be like, you have to have this before you can do that. And they will kind of tell you the process. So you can just ask any of them.
Paula's Chamber of Commerce is a good place.
Ooh, yeah. Chamber of Commerce could probably really give you some great resources. Thank you for that.
Jill wants to know if you're getting a bigger Thunder anytime soon.
So yes, actually we do have 2 very large laser machines that are like a 4-foot by 8-foot bed. And we've got those in storage right now until our laser workshop is done. And one of them is a Thunder. So yeah.
How do you recover a dried up paintbrush?
So if you have a paintbrush that's all caked up with paint and isn't really, working great for you anymore, one thing you can do is you could soak it in like a rubbing alcohol solution. I've even heard somebody use hand sanitizer before.
Really?
I haven't tried that myself, but that is a thing you can do. Alcohol breaks down the resins or whatever that's in acrylic paint. The other thing you can do, which I have done this before, is take Murphy's oil soap and do about a 50-50 solution with warm water and Murphy's oil soap and just let the bristles soak in that for a few hours. And then once you take them out, put them in warm water and brush them over like a makeup brush cleaner pad.
Any recommendations on where to find tutorials to cut out Cricut stencils using Mylar?
I don't know of any resources. There's a couple people on TikTok that teach how to use the Cricut. I don't know of anybody. Do y'all know of anybody? Like surely somebody watching knows of somebody who teaches how to cut out stencils on the Cricut.
Laura says she priced her door hangers at $35, but she can't seem to sell them when she even went down to $25. Is it because it's my friends that want to buy and they expect a huge discount?
That could be the case. I would be curious what methods you've used to try to sell those at $35. If are you only posting them on like your private Facebook page? Are you posting them on a business page? Okay, I see Paige is saying that Jennifer Maker is the Cricut Queen. So go find Jennifer Maker. If you haven't set up an Etsy shop yet, maybe you're just in too small of a pool of people. Maybe you're only trying to sell to your friends and family, and your friends and family may not be your customer, and that's a hard pill to swallow sometimes. But I mean, really, I didn't sell nearly as many painted door hangers to friends and family as I did to people outside of that bubble. And once I got outside that bubble, I really started to sell more. But discounting your product is not going to make it suddenly more appealing to people. It's actually going to make, it's kind of psychological. People are going to see that and be like, what's wrong with it? Why did she knock it down to 25? You know, and they know that you aren't valuing it as much, and so they don't value it as much. So try not to discount your stuff. Stand firm on your price, and just find a different pool of people to sell to.
When your shop is complete, will you still be going live from here or there?
Yes, so this craft room is going to still be the place I go do all my lives from. I probably will also be doing lives from the workshop just to be able to show you guys what we're working on in there and how the machines are doing and all of that. But all of my painting videos I'll still be doing right here.
All right, can you demonstrate the circular sponge brushes?
Yeah.
Kristen tried them this morning and it didn't work, so she's currently hand painting all her dots.
Okay, so if you're using one of these little sponges, make sure it's nice and dry. You don't want any water in it, because the thing is, and also the kind of paint you're using does make a difference. If your paint is really thin, you're going to get more bubbles. So this Deco Art paint is great because it's nice and thick enough that it's not going to cause those bubbles. So make sure you get the whole bottom of the sponge covered, but after you've got it all covered, kind of scrape off as much of it as you can. So I like to scrape it off like on the edge of my egg carton, so that the sponge now looks like this. It almost looks like it's dry, but it's not. And then when you do your dot, push down and then do a gentle twist, about a 25, degree turn. Don't turn it all the way around, but just enough to kind of complete the circle. Because if I don't turn, this is what I get. See the incomplete dot? That's without any rotation. You just get an incomplete dot. But if I push down, and I'm pushing down with quite a bit of pressure, you can see it's flattened it out. Do a gentle twist, even with very little paint still on here, I can get a nice round dot.
Any tips on painting with brown? She's having trouble with it.
It's probably the brown paint that you're using. I really like the, I think it's called dark chocolate, and also sable brown from Deco Art. Yeah, here's the dark chocolate, and then the sable brown looks like this. So it's kind of like milk chocolate and dark chocolate. These two are really great. Back in the day, I used to use the apple barrel paints from Walmart, and I think the main brown that they carry in the big bottles is called Burnt Umber. It was pretty good, but usually I had to do like an extra coat almost always, because brown has a lot of like red in it. Usually it has a lot of red tones in it, and red just doesn't cover good as a general rule. And so that's probably the problem. I would if you cannot go out and buy a different color of brown, I would maybe take your brown and add to it, depending on what color you're going for, like a little bit of like a tan or something that has more opacity to it, more opaqueness.
All right, approximately how many inches are your templates and door hangers?
So the templates come in 4 sizes. The largest size is 20 inches, and then there's a 12 inch. And the reason that we choose 12 is because 12 is like a good size for a porch sign attachment or a wreath sign or something like that. So 12 is a good small size. It's also good for kid size door hangers. And then we have 8 inch and 6 inch. And so those 2 sizes are good if you're going to use like on a tiered tray for cute little decor, or as like a door hanger attachment or a Christmas ornament. But yeah, our largest door hanger size is 20 inches.
It's 11. You want to keep going? I got more questions.
Yeah, let's do about 15 more minutes, and then we're going to have to wrap it up.
Okay, how fast did you outgrow your Glowforge? I hear that is the biggest regret.
I hear a lot of people, I outgrew mine. Well, I already had purchased the big machines for our shop, but I needed something faster, probably within 6 months. And I think that's about the average for most people is they get to using the Glowforge, and then their business grows to the point where they need something that can keep up with their production, because the Glowforge can't cut something very big, and it also is slow at the cutting. So the Thunder Laser is faster, and it can cut a larger piece.
How many times can you paint over something before you should consider just sanding it off?
So if you are getting lots of layers built up when you're painting over something, you can usually tell because it starts to get sort of a bumpy sort of texture to it. So if you can kind of feel that it feels really bumpy, or you can see in the light, you know, that it's like, you can see the texture to it, that's when it starts to feel like the quality has gone down on what you've painted, right? So if you start to get that texture where there's too many brush strokes going on and all that, I would recommend sanding it down and starting over.
Can you show us your new machine area?
No, not today. Just because we would have to take a field trip out of this craft room and down to the backyard and all that. I will do a live on that another day when it's actually ready.
Have you ever used a scroll saw to cut out wood?
I have not, but a lot of our Painters Clubhouse members do prefer the scroll saw over a jigsaw. Scroll saw is great because it'll let you cut really intricate designs, and you can operate it while you're seated. So if you have any mobility problems or whatever, you can just sit down and you pretty much hold your wood like this, and you move the wood, and the blade stays in one spot, and you just move the wood to cut. Whereas the jigsaw, the wood is on something and you're using your hand to move like this. So depending on your preference, you might prefer one over the other. And the jigsaw has a difficult time cutting really intricate things because it's bigger and clunkier.
Where do you buy deco art?
I buy my deco art paint on the deco art website, which, by the way, I did put a link up in the video description for you guys for this rainbow paint pack from Deco Art. It has 8 of these 12 colors we used on the design that you see behind me in the Happy Flowers workshop. So the only colors we didn't use were like this red, this coral color, this blue, and maybe the light blue. There were only like 4 colors out of here we didn't use. So if you buy this rainbow paint pack, you're going to have almost all the colors you need for this. The only ones that aren't in here are white, light gray, and the sable brown, which, you know, if you didn't want brown in the center of your flowers, you could alternate and use a different color.
Do you have a live schedule?
So I go live every Tuesday, usually, today's the exception, usually at 11 a.m. Central, and then on Fridays at 9:30 a.m. Central. Now on Tuesdays we usually paint, and then on Fridays we do Friday Fab 5, which is a lot of fun because I share 5 of my favorite things with you guys. So sometimes it might be a new product on Amazon, or a great recipe, or a clothing item, or a new craft product. You just never know. So join me on Fridays at 9:30 a.m. Central for that. But if you want to get notified when I go live, definitely text me. I put my number up in the video description above, and I will text you when I get ready to go live.
Any tips on sizing the templates to print out on a printer? I have wasted so much paper and ink trying to get it to fit on the wood.
Okay. There is a website that makes this easier. It's called blockposters.com. Blockposters.com. Go in there, upload a JPEG image of what you're trying to create, and you choose the number of pages you want it to print on. So I would usually choose like painting on 2 pages wide in landscape mode or something like that. And when you do that, you'll notice when you play with the settings, you can change it to 3 pages in portrait mode, 3 pages in landscape mode, whatever. Play with all the settings, and each time you change a setting, pay attention to the information underneath your image. It will tell you how big it's going to print. Now that measurement is from outside of each sheet, no, from very top to very bottom. It's not the it's not the measurements of your image within that design. It's to the outsides of the paper. So if you want it to be more specific to your image, there's a crop button. Crop that white space out and bring it closer to your image, and you'll get a new measurement.
What size round do you need for the workshop?
So the round we're using for the workshop is an 18-inch. You can get it from us at shopdoorhangers.com. I put the link for that up above. Also, we've currently knocked the price down to just $12 for these wooden rounds, and I've been shipping out a bunch of them. Several people ordered like 3 and 5, and so if you don't have to get just one. If you want to paint with like all your friends, or you want to buy 5 of these and paint and sell them or give them as gifts, you can get as many as you want. But we're going to be teaching this workshop March 22nd and 24th. The link to sign up is up above. It's just $10. You can get your wood round from us, you can cut it yourself, or you can buy one at your local craft shop. But make sure it's 18 inches.
Okay, the question right after that says I can only find 18-inch rounds locally. How do I change a 20-inch pattern to fit? Your patterns are 18-inch for the workshop, if that's what they're talking about.
So for the patterns for the workshop, we've been making those fit on an 18-inch because stores don't sell a 20-inch, which I prefer a 20-inch size door hanger. But really, when it's in a round shape like this, you don't notice that it's 18 instead of 20. It feels bigger. You know what I'm saying? Because it's 18 this way and 18 that way. Whereas some designs that are like skinny and tall, if it's 18, it feels really small. So you kind of have to go to 20 to make it feel bigger. But in a circle like this, 18 is great for a front door. So that's why we've been just doing the workshop designs in 18-inch, is because it's easier to find 18-inch rounds at the craft store. So if you're trying to use a 20-inch template, like if you bought one from our shop and you're trying to use a 20-inch template on an 18-inch round, what I would do is when you go to click print, go to your printer settings, and instead of clicking fit to page or something like that, click on scale. There's a scale setting. Now, if you're doing this from your phone, you're going to have a whole lot of trouble. Do it from a laptop because you'll get a lot more printer options. Click on scale and reduce the scale to like 75 or 80%, but pay attention to your print preview, and it's going to show you, you know, how much bigger or smaller it is, and that will kind of help you reduce the size.
Have you tried the stain from Deco Art?
I have not tried stain from Deco Art. Is it good?
What is the best way to sprinkle paint on a hanger?
Oh, so for like splatter paint, my favorite way is with the toothbrush. That's why it may seem odd, but I keep a toothbrush in my craft repertoire here. And I like to water down the paint just a little bit. That way it flicks a little better. And I do have a video on this. If you go back to like my YouTube channel and look at the Winter Wishes door hanger that I did with the people ice skating on the pond, or there's one, though probably the best one would be the 3 candy corns. I did a lot of splatter paint on that. So dip your toothbrush in your watered down paint. And then you're just going to take, and one way you can do it is like this, but you're going to get better flicks if you actually take with 2 hands and kind of like use one hand to flick and one hand to hold the brush. So that is going to get you more of a, like, practice on cardboard, because it's definitely like a learning curve. If you do it like this, you're going to get sort of a directional splatter. The other way to do it is to dip it in your paint, watered down paint, and to tap like this. And this will give you bigger droplets and give you more control over where they land. If you don't want big droplets, then definitely like tap it off somewhere else, like on a paper towel. And then if you want tiny droplets, you know, use a harder motion to tap your paintbrush, your toothbrush.
What was the name of the sizing website?
Blockposters.com.
And then Megan's reminding us that the 20-inch file is in the Clubhouse for Clubhouse members.
Okay, yeah. If you're a Painters Clubhouse member, we do have a 20-inch file of this design, and it's also will work in your laser cutting machines, but that's only available in our Painters Clubhouse.
All right,
Are we done? All right. This was fun, you guys. Did you enjoy the live Q&A? Let me know. If you want to be notified when I go live, text me. The number is up above. If you want to watch this on the replay, for those of you on TikTok who maybe only caught the last 5 minutes, I'm going to re-upload this to YouTube. This just in here in a few minutes. You'll be able to watch the whole thing. So go subscribe to my YouTube channel and you can watch it there. Yes, we did sell all the door hangers to the fundraiser. Latricia, I just saw her question pop up. And if you want to sign up for the Happy Flowers workshop, it starts March 22nd. It's only $10, and the link is in my TikTok profile and up above in the video description. I hope y'all enjoyed this. See you next time. Bye, y'all.